This is my audience.
My mom, Marta, my dad, Julio, and my brother, Nicholas.
My speech is over athletes who are involved with steroids. Issues of cheating or winning at any cost are becoming more and more common amongst athletes of all ages and levels of ability. The use of steroids is one of the biggest issues in the current debate whether or not it's fair for drug-free athletes to have to compete with the athletes that break the law and use illegal steroids. Allowing those with an unfair advantage to compete can pressure drug-free athletes to use anabolic steroids to remain competitive. The Control Act has been found to deter trafficking, protect young people, and preserve fair competition in sports. The following excerpt is from an editorial by M.G. D. Pascal concerning drugs in sports. Contrary to what most people believe, the use of drugs, such as anabolic steroids, by athletes is a problem, not because of the addictive, dangerous side effects of these compounds, but because these drugs offer an unfair advantage to the athletes who don't use them. Anabolic steroids were developed in Europe around 1930 to treat unnourished and healing patients after surgery. Anabolic steroids are a drug containing hormones which are used to increase strength and promote muscle growth. Competitive weightlifters began using these steroids around the 50s as a way to increase their athletic performance and gain an upper hand amongst their competitors. After its initial use in bodylifting, the drug spread like wildfire in high school sports and professional sports all the way up to the Olympics. The use of anabolic steroids has been on the rise in the last 10 years. It's been estimated to at least 1 in 15 males in high schools have used steroids, which means 500,000 high school athletes have used steroids. On this website, www.steroidabuse.org, an article states there has been a recent evidence suggesting that steroid abuse among adolescents is on the rise. The NIDA-funded survey of drug abuse among adolescents in middle and high schools across the United States estimated that 2.7% of 8th and 10th graders and 2.9% of 12th graders have taken anabolic steroids at least once in their lives. Steroids usually been desirable at first, but there are serious side effects which accompany the very desirable effects of steroids. Excessive use may cause an imbalance in users' normal hormonal balance and body chemistry. Some of the many side effects are heart attacks, water retention, which can lead to high blood pressure and stroke, and some liver and kidney tumors are also possible. But just as serious are the psychological effects of abusing steroids. They can include drastic mood swings, inability to sleep, and feelings of hostility. Steroids can also be psychologically addictive, and when started, athletes enjoy the physical benefits of increased size, strength, and endurance. Some so much that they are reluctant to even stop when told the risks. The Control Act has been extremely lax in addressing the problem of elite athletes, although the remote possibility of criminal prosecution deters few, if any, Olympic and professional level athletes. Still, the most effective way to remove anabolic steroids from competitive sports is through systematic drug testing. Athletes who fail the steroid test will be prohibited from competing. While testing for anabolic steroids is not perfect, it does remove or at least identify the steroid users in their sports and also serves the most effective deterrent to date. Serious athletes devote a huge amount of time, energy, and resources into training for an event. The effective drug testing for preventing steroid-using athletes from competing is both more effective and more appropriate deterrent than the Controls Act of threats of making overly ambitious athletes into convicted felons. Anabolic steroids would also need to be restricted to non-competent adults, and non-physicians caught trafficking in steroids, especially selling steroids to minors, would be subject to stiff criminal actions. There are obvious political hurdles standing in the way of all solutions, but Congress and law enforcement authorities would have to accept the fact that some adults who are not competitive athletes would in theory be legally able to use anabolic steroids for cosmetic and physique enhancement. Under the supervision of a qualified physician, however, with the current trend of unsupervised and self-administered steroids, the steroid problem and their use by athletes is only going to become infinitely worse. Any questions?
No.
Alright, well, that's my speech.